right?
Like, is porn a bad thing?
Very bad. Absolutely bad.
Yes.
Terrible.
Shots fired.
Super bad.
They've done studies on the effect that porn has on both men and women, and if we're just talking about men, the studies have shown that it has all around negative effects on men, not only in their relationships, but also in their productivity and their energy levels, in their like desire to achieve more for their lives. The more that there's a direct correlation for how much men are consuming porn and how, I guess, like stagnant their life is, and because of the dopamine increase that they get when they watch porn, it makes it harder to get that dopamine in other places. So they'll feel less satisfied in their work. They'll feel less satisfied in their partner.
I've seen those studies, actually. I've looked into that. But I would think that it's like similar to other things in life that give you dopamine, like your phone or candy, that it's like needs to be regulated. And also I would imagine like some of that, the way they feel is because of like the guilt and shame surrounded around porn in our society.
This is what I think when we're talking about porn addiction. My concern with addiction or dopamine release.
I wasn't talking about like porn addiction. I was just talking about porn in general.
Well, actually, they did a study, not even about adult content, but about men who had they followed a lot of like social media models or whatever, Instagram models on social media. They said they did a study that they were less attracted to their partner in real life. The more there was like direct correlation for how many Instagram models they followed, how much they're scrolling, how much time they're spending on their phone looking at these women, and how attracted they felt to their partner or people they were meeting in real life.
That's so true. By the way, I'm not here like defending porn or anything. I'm kind of just like playing devil's advocate and like throwing into different perspectives and like trying to understand how people feel about it, because I'm just so closely related to that industry as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things or know of a lot of things that we don't even know about.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
And I know you said you weren't talking about like addiction, just porn in general, but like you said, it's like a dopamine fix. Once a kid gets candy, they're going to want to eat more candy. Once someone watches porn, they're going to keep watching porn and eventually become
true,
addicted.
But then there's also people who have like healthy diets that eat candy occasionally. I think it depends on like the personality.
Well, okay. So when we're talking about substances that have the capacity to be very damaging to you, or we'll use the word addiction, and you could bring up candy or video games or porn or heroin or whatever, right? I think what's less important to talk about is the fact that something can be addictive or release dopamine in your brain and make you feel good, versus the capacity for that addiction to cause really, really substantial damage to you on the micro level and society on the macro level. Porn is very, very damaging to you as an individual and society on the macro. And there's like 20 different stats you could throw out to talk about this, gender dynamics and dating and marriage and divorce rates, and it all sort of ties together. Porn has been a very, very damaging experiment on the minds of young men. And the earlier you start watching porn as a young boy, some people kids these days, like 11 or 12, they're watching hardcore pornography.
Yeah.
Your sexual dopamine reward center is, in most cases, permanently just completely frazzled.
I'm definitely familiar with the way that it like makes people view sex and what they think is okay. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, like, do you think society could exist without that, or is it just like something that you feel like is like deemed to be created no matter what?
Well, I think there'll always be porn to some degree. This is what I'll tell young men, though, is that, you know, blaming promiscuous women for the downfall of society is not going to get you anywhere. What will fix society and fix young men and the men's mental health crisis is men adopting discipline and stopping consuming this content.
Well,
you need to stop.
Women. Like, we can't talk about this and not say that it doesn't harm women. The industry harms women.
Another thing is like the way that the industry functions, like laws that are related to that also, like, I feel like affect people who are in it, what is put out there, what's allowed.